So this Sunday, I did a hackathon with my older son. What is that, a hackathon? Well, basically, we sat down and we started envisioning an application for a problem that he found to be very attractive. Now, of course, we didn't just sit down and do that. We had been preparing the whole summer, having conversations about what are the types of problems that you see from your perspective as a youngster. He's 14 years old, that you would be passionate about solving and really tuning yourself to that. We want to move away from apathy and connect with empathy so that you can say, okay, these are the pains that I perceive, which could be solved in a simple way if we did this or that. And so tuning that polarity is a matter of having conversations, talking about examples, looking at other people, inspiring these types of activities, which are many. Now, I saw that as an opportunity also because we recognize that at this moment, kids are not being prepared to actually take on the future with the tools they are getting in school. So even before AI and the pandemic, the school system was broken and obsolete. The curriculum and the way they teach make absolutely no sense and are not really preparing our kids in any way for what's to come. What I perceive is that education should be just a series of hackathons where you produce all kinds of things using different types of tools to produce solutions to the best and most important problems out there. Now, let everyone connect to that exactly and find their path. The thing that we have seen in 2025, at least, is that yes, it's true that we haven't seen a major surge in unemployment by way of companies replacing people with AI. That hasn't happened yet. But the one thing that is happening is that more companies are not hiring younger junior folks, interns, people that have just graduated from the university. That is actually happening. Why? Because senior people are just using AI as an assistant, doing things much faster and cheaper, the types of things that a junior would do, like maybe writing some email or putting together a report, collecting research, doing all these heavy lifting types of things were done before by junior hires. Now it's not necessary because you can just replace those people with a very cheap license for ChatGPT or whatever other tool. So what's happening is that there is increasing unemployment for younger people that were not prepared really to take on this situation. Now, the way I'm responding to that is it's not really about becoming fluent in AI tools by itself. That's not the only answer. You have to actually have a portfolio of solutions you have already put together. As a young person that is not experienced, that hasn't yet worked, you have to put together a portfolio of things that you've done in the past using the tools. Now, your level of fluency as a young person is already very high because you're native. You were born into this situation. That wasn't the case for me. I had to learn my way, I had to dive in. But in your case, you are already in. This is part of the language, this is part of the way you interact with the world. It's all digital and you're learning the ropes as you go because there are many things that are out there that are trying to manipulate you into consuming stuff instead of producing stuff. And that's just a tendency that more and more people are becoming aware of, which is great. However, now how do we shift into production? Well, production should not be mindless. It should not be just produced for the sake of it because you can with the tools that are available. What we have to do still, and that's still the case even at this moment, is connect meaningfully with the problem that you are trying to solve, then become passionate about it, learn all that you can learn about that problem, and then translate all that you know into a solution that you can build. Fortunately, with the tools that we currently have, which really change the game. Now, before AI, before vibe coding, which allows you to create applications just by writing a description of the application, before all of that, um, you needed to have either the skills to program, you needed to have maybe the money to be able to have a team, or you needed to have a co-founder that had the technical skills. And then on top of it, you needed to have the time. More than 300 hours uh, in average is what you need to produce a workable app using the technologies from before. Now you just need a good description and a weekend to be able to end up with a workable, functional application. It might not be perfect, but you can test it. And so things have just shifted. And all of this you can do just with a 25 € subscription to Lovable, for example, or any of the other vibe coding options that are out there. In our case, we really liked Lovable. I started using it in December before they became famous, and I've been using it throughout. Now it is the fastest growing company to reach $100 million in annual recurring revenue. They achieved that in 9 months. That is an unprecedented record. No other company has ever been able to achieve that, not even OpenAI. But that points to something that's very important, that is very meaningful, which is that there is a whole lot of potential locked in, a lot of people that now can be turned into reality, and that includes youngsters. So what we did was basically, what is an idea that can turn into a solution for a problem that you see out there that we can build over the weekend? And so this Sunday, we were able to put ourselves into that task. And it was such an amazing experience. I actually recommend you to do it with your kids. It is a learning experience because you don't only talk about the actual inner workings of what a viable solution could look like, but you actually put it together and it's functioning. So the level of satisfaction is amazing, and you are able to actually see it come to life. The feeling of progress and realization is an instant gratification, right? Which is very important to them, to be able to interact with something that is actually there working. Is It's exactly what they need. So then, it's really about learning how to experiment with your hypothesis. This should be something that works from my perspective. Then you launch it, then you find out whether it works or not. If it does, then you continue. If it doesn't, then it's a small failure that allows you to adjust, iterate, and keep going. And if you do that, it builds resilience, it builds character, and it builds the conditions that I think will be needed for our kids to be ready for what's to come.